Lycans and gentlemen, we thank you for waiting. And now let the games begin!
Hey guys, Joe here, and welcome back to my channel. Finally, welcome back to my channel. It's been quite a while, probably about 9 or 10 months or so. Wow, it's 2020. Fantastic year. Obviously, I'm talking sarcastically. It's been my worst year on record, and probably many people's worst year on record so far. There's many reasons why I haven't been back to my channel. The main reason is that my computer, my recording and editing laptop broke down, and I tried everything to fix it and I couldn't. I really struggled, and I lost about 3 or 4 videos that I prepared, and it was really demoralizing there. And on top of that, my other laptop, the screen broke, and I had no money really to get these fixed. And also my phone broke, just everything pretty much all at the same time. Had to get a new phone. That was the most important thing first. I did manage to get my screen fixed, and while I was saving up hopefully to get a new laptop, I was recording some videos. I wasn't able to really edit them or do anything with them yet, but I was just recording them in advance so that I'd have, a bit of stock to fall back on when I get back to the channel. Yeah, and then that computer broke down for some unknown reason. I don't know what it was, and it wiped all of my recordings, everything that I'd done pretty much, and that was sort of a final straw, and I couldn't be bothered to go any further with this, along with many other reasons, that where 2020 has just brought so much crap, and yeah, I did feel pretty demoralized at the end of the day. But I thought, well, now I've managed to save enough money. I got a laptop fixed. I did manage to record all of and start editing all of until Dawn. No, not Until Dawn. Little Hope, the game Little Hope, and yeah, I may still be able to get that back if anything. That would be nice because I did record the entire game. But anyway, I'm back. What game to best start with would be Resident Evil Village. I have been waiting so long for this game. It's been in the works for 5 years now. So, and having watched all the trailers, I know it's going to be an epic game, quite a long game, I hope. And also, it's Resident Evil. I absolutely adore this franchise. It's my favorite game franchise ever since I first got PlayStation 1, and having Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. Resident Evil 3 was always my favourite game in the franchise, but I absolutely love Resident Evil 4. It brought it to a whole new level, not in the survival horror genre, but generally in terms of story, and it showed that you could bring action to Resident Evil and not have it turn out like Resident Evil 6, which was a pile of dog crap. I'm so excited for this game. Resident Evil Village. I've only seen the trailers. I have not watched any other gamers play the demos. I've not played the demo myself. I didn't want any spoilers, so the trailers were enough spoilers for me. Although, having said that, I did watch the maiden demo. A couple of people play the maiden demo, which was like a PlayStation 5 exclusive. The only reason for that is because I know the maiden demo was set in 1954, and it wouldn't really spoil the future events of Resident Evil Village, the game, so I did watch that as well. So I'm going to detail for you now my main predictions for Resident Evil Village. Prediction 1. Lady Alcina Dimitrescu is a tyrant. So, this is a theory that a lot of people have, and it's understandable why a lot of people have this theory. So, not only is she very, very, very tall, she also has grey skin, which is common amongst the Tyrant series. She has, as can be determined from the end of the Maiden demo, very long claws which she can retract out like Wolverine, but also just is a reminder of Mr. X as he's merged with the G-Virus, and also Nemesis, who has tentacles come out of his fingers rather than claws. And this is very reminiscent of the Tyrant series, particularly Mr. X and Nemesis, where the clothes they wear actually keeps them from mutating. And I have a feeling that this dress might be keeping her from mutating further. As she is a perfected tyrant, you don't really want her mutating out of control. However, I would say that the fans, I'm sure, would like to see her out of her dress, judging by the amount of insanely horny comments we see all the time on all these videos. I have to admit, I'm in a small minority of people where I'm not obsessed and I'm not going to be like frozen to the spot about how beautiful she is. And I'm not a horny teenager like most of the commenters on YouTube. What I'm going to be concentrating on is shooting the face off her face, because she is going to be terrifying. And she is clearly, from what I can tell by the way she walks in one of the trailers also, she's going to be stalking us around like Mr. X, I think. And she is going to be stamping on us. I don't want to be stomped on. I want to survive. It's as simple as that. I'm also a married man and married to Mia as my character. So, why would I? But I get the appeal. I get what people are saying. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes from there. But I think she is some form of perfected tyrant. This sort of leads on to my second theory now. So theory number 2, we are going to see some brother-sister dynamics, but not necessarily the types of brother-sister dynamics that you are expecting. Of course, we're expecting Lady Dimitrescu and her brother. We're not sure if it's her actual brother, but her brother, who seems to be mutating into that Leshy type character with the hammer, part of the Lycans or leader of the Lycans, where she is the leader of the vampires. There is brother-sister dynamics going on, and she doesn't seem to like her brother that much, and that makes a lot of sense, because in a lot of not mythological, but legendary lore between vampires and Lycans, they don't really get on with each other. Vampires don't like werewolves, so it makes sense that she doesn't get on with her brother, and likewise, vampires don't get on with werewolves. So that makes a lot of sense. We did see in the maiden demo, there was some writing on the wall saying, "Help me, brother," or not sure the exact wording, but something along them lines. So it shows that at some point, there's a woman, or possibly even a man, imprisoned with their brother, or maybe their brother wasn't there and they're coming to help them. I can't help but think that maybe at some point Lady Dimitrescu was a normal person, normal woman that was imprisoned in there, and she asked her brother for help, and they both ended up getting mutated, both ended up getting infected with the virus. I have a feeling that they were probably all normal people at one point, until the beginnings of Umbrella, whoever they are, managed to have their way with them, and they ended up getting infected with the T or the G or the C or whatever other letter of virus. But it also brings along the possible hint that if Chris is there, possibly his sister Claire is there as well. So Claire may end up turning up in this, and I've got a theory that we might see Claire. Whether Claire has been locked up at some point in dungeon, or she's been taken by Mother Miranda, Lady Dimitrescu, and Chris has gone there under disguise to save his sister, or to save someone. It doesn't have to be his sister. Maybe it's Sheva from Resident Evil 5. You never know. But I have a feeling Chris has gone there. He's not an evil person. He's undercover, but while he's undercover, I feel that he might have got infected by some form of virus that turns him into a werewolf, judging by the poster and judging by a couple of clips from the trailer, which goes to show that I think he is part werewolf now, part Lycan. But I think he's undercover, so when he's in his human form, he's pretending he's on the bad side, but he isn't. So we might end up seeing Claire, we might end up seeing Sheva, we might even end up seeing Leon. There is a man with the goggles in the trailer as well. We don't know who he is. We know it's a man because he spoke. Maybe it's Leon, but I'm also considering that Jake might be in this game. Also, bear in mind, Jake is the son of Albert Wesker, and also a possibility, maybe Mother Miranda is Alex Wesker. Maybe Mother Miranda is an older Claire Redfield. You never know. And there's obviously going to be a surprise. I reckon there's going to be a surprise or two regarding characters that are in the game that just suddenly turn up that you weren't expecting. Like the end of Resident Evil 7 with Chris, like Jill with Resident Evil 5, maybe even Sherry. Just put it all out there. Barry, Rebecca, whoever. I'll be happy if a long gone, that we haven't seen in ages, or maybe even only in one game, character turns up in this game. So theory number 4, Ethan will die.
Why?
As mentioned in one of the trailers, Resident Evil Village will wrap up Ethan's story. This is the end of his story. And what could that mean? It could mean that he goes off into the sunset and lives happily ever after, or more than likely, he's going to die. And I don't know what that means. Maybe he'll die saving Rose, his infant daughter. I hope that is the case, and that probably is going to be the case. He dies for his daughter, he dies for his family, or he even dies for Chris, maybe. But I think that he's going to die, and that's the end of that theory. We'll have to wait and see. It'll be the end of the game if that is the case. And he'll feel that he has nothing to live for because Mia's dead, so he could at least save his daughter. But is Mia really dead? I mean, we tried to kill her plenty of times in Resident Evil 7, but she kept on coming back for more. My fifth theory is that Resident Evil Village is just a precursor for the Resident Evil 4 remake. Yes, I still think the Resident Evil 4 remake is going ahead. There is so many similarities, whether it's on the village, whether it's the lake that you can see on the map with the lake monster, whether it is the Castle Dimitrescu, reminds me a lot of the castle in Resident Evil 4. The gameplay mechanics, such as the kicking away, like Leon did in Resident Evil 4, Ethan's doing here as well. Slightly different kick, but nonetheless, unlimited use of the knife. You've got the merchant, obviously, and the new Resident Evil 4. Well, not the new Resident Evil 4. The inventory system, which was made famous in Resident Evil 4, my favourite inventory system by far. And that's made return back to Resident Evil 7 as well, which is great news. And many other little things, just the environment in general, the church and church bells ringing. You see some platforms like a bridge, sections of a bridge rising up from the water. It reminds me a lot of when Leon is running away from the giant mechanical monster over the bridge and the sections fall down. So a lot of these little elements that make up Resident Evil 4 are very similar in Resident Evil Village, and I think that it's definitely they're going to use a lot of the elements of that for the Resident Evil 4 remake. And if they do the Resident Evil 4 remake, I think they need to at least spend 3 years on it, because it's it's a long game and it's a much loved game and it doesn't need a remake. A remaster like Resident Evil 1 would be great as well, but I'm pretty certain they're going to go for the remake. And as long as they do a better job than Resident Evil 3 remake, which I did really enjoy, but which was still nonetheless very disappointing, I'll be happy overall. Fingers crossed. And they sort out Ashley, because she's a character that needs to be either scrapped completely or just turned into someone that's not heavily reliant on being caught all the time and just shouting Leon and nothing else. My final theory is that the legends of werewolves and vampires and mer creatures, sea monsters, lycans, the Baba Yaga witches, all of these legends actually stem from Umbrella. So let me explain that a little bit more. I feel that a lot of these legends of creatures that we know don't exist as it currently stands, and they all seem to be just passed down from age to age through stories and through word of mouth, and through fairy tales, such as the one Mia was reading out at the beginning of the first trailer. It seems as though possibly this is all about the origins of Umbrella. And these creatures, werewolves, come up, and vampires and witches and whatnot, they come about as a result of some form of exposure to a virus created by Umbrella or one of its subsidiaries. And that's a really interesting concept. I mean, it can happen in nature. We've seen it before. We've seen it with the Las Plagas in Resident Evil 4, and we've seen it with the flowers in Resident Evil 5. It's not just about some form of organism or some sort of virus that's been cultured and created by the Umbrella Corporation. It can occur naturally and can cause mutations in the local villages, in the population, in animals, in nature, and then Umbrella can use that for their own advantage. So it seems as though, for me, this game is trying to tell us that all the legends we've heard of in fairy tales are actually a result of Umbrella, and I hope that is true. That is the theory I've not heard anyone else say. That's my theory, and I really hope that is true, because it's a really, really good introduction, and it will hopefully help reduce the complaints about why there's werewolves in this game, why there's vampires, why not traditionally zombies? Well, because zombies are just one element of what can be created by Umbrella and by these mutagens. zombies are one undead creature, yes, but you can actually mutate into something else, whether it's a bloodthirsty vampire or an animalistic human hybrid. Fingers crossed that is the case. I really like that idea. There we go. And yeah, so these are my main theories. This is what I'm going with. I'm sure there could be lots of other elements that I could be missing out and lots of other things that are going to surprise me. And I'm sure most of my theories, if none of them, are even going to be true. But I can't wait to play the game, and I'm going to get on it as soon as it's available at 1 in the morning tomorrow. I'll upload that for you within the next couple of days. So thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Yeah, that didn't quite work, did it? Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe, and yeah, join me for Resident Evil Village when I release that video in a couple of days' time. See you then. So excited.
I gotta say, I'm surprised you made it this far. It'd be a shame if something happened to you now.